Hello, everyone. My name is William Wright. What if I could tell you that I have a way to end all of the current military wars that are going on across the world and bring all of our troops home? You know, it sounds a little too good to be true. I've been in the active duty military now for the last 8 years and have served a combined 13 years in the military. I served 12 months in Iraq, 12 months in Afghanistan, and have seen firsthand what it's like to be at war and some of the things that go on over there that some people that only see about it in the news may not know exactly the full concept of war. Political claims of any type of military conflict, such as, oh, I can end this war, I can get all of our troops home by this date, I can have all of our troops out of this country by this date, all used to seem to manipulate a personal, emotional well-being based on the close relationship that most people have now, either personally or with someone they know personally, as far as these Middle East conflicts go. Most people either have been to war now, have served in the military during this time of war, or are family members with someone that have served with someone during this time of the Iraq and Afghanistan war. This current war in the Middle East has been going on now for 4 presidential terms, starting with George Bush. He was there, for the beginning of it. It's now transitioned for 2 elections for President Obama, and it'll be transitioning again before we're out of Afghanistan to a 5th presidential term. Now, let me stop and say that, being an active duty service member still, this is not any type of bashing on President Obama. He is my commander-in-chief, so don't take it that way. This is more presidential debates, presidential campaigns on both parties, as I don't really favor one way or another. But this is just something that really hits home with me. Many promises were made regarding the ending of the Iraq war. President Obama, for example, in 2012, numerous times, including his wife Michelle and his campaign teams, declared that they were the ones responsible for ending the Iraq war. If you Google anything that says, President Obama ends the Iraq war video, you're going to see numerous things. The CNN News, New York Post, The Atlantic, they all have articles written about it. One of the biggest things that then goes against that is in August of 2014, when President Obama gave the ability for us to resend airstrikes into Iraq on ISIS, a reporter asked him a question of, "Sir President, what were your thoughts now? Do you have any second thoughts about pulling the ground troops all out of Iraq?" And the president replied, "What I just find interesting is the degree to which this issue keeps on coming up as if this was my decision." Right there, President does go against some of the things that he has, numerous times said and used actually as his presidential election campaign, that this was my decision. I will pull our troops out of Iraq. I will bring our troops home. And that was something that was really emotional. 2008, 2012, people had already been there in war for 7 years, 11 years, depending on which campaign we were talking about, and people wanted to see our troops home. So when 2008 came around and that was one of the promises that were made, people were jumping up and down for joy. People wanted that to happen, and what we saw was it continued to go on. And now, even again, after that time has come and after we pulled those troops out of Iraq, you see us going back into Iraq. Presidential campaigns, while yes, they are our commander-in-chief. That's my commander-in-chief. That's my boss. That is the boss of, every other military branch. While yes, they are ultimately in charge of some of the decisions, they're not the only person that makes these decisions. Congress has to get involved. Many other parties have to be involved. They then listen, to top generals, Secretary of Defense, and then it's a vote. It's a drawn-out process that one individual does not have direct control over these decisions. So when you go into a presidential debate, especially coming up into this next election, while we're still going to be at this war, it's still going to be a focus. It has been now for the last going on 15 years since the September 11th. We're already over the 14-year mark. We're going on to the 15 years, and it will be 15, by the time this election happens, that we've been at this war. People are going to want us out of this war. They're going to continue to use this as a heart-tugging, emotional event to draw attention to their campaigns. There are other things going on right now that we're not going to talk about, such as, the healthcare and stuff like that. And that's still going to be a big one. But war is never going to be an ending subject right now. As someone who's served, for the last now 13 years, 8 of which have been active, this is something that's really emotional for me. While I think most campaign promises do have genuine intent behind them, like I said, this is not against President Obama. I'm not trying to bash him, and I do think he had every intention of being able to pull us out of Iraq and wanted it to come in a good way that was in, a forever-ending way. When it comes to war and conflict that's been going on for an extended period of time, it almost becomes, in my opinion, unethical to make a promise to the United States, to all of our citizens, to all these voting citizens, that you're going to be able to do something, even if you do believe it. Like I said, I don't think President Obama ever doubted himself that he'd be able to do this. But one thing that we can't control is the other countries. They're that hidden element that then throws any definitive plans out of the window and makes it unethical. When we can't guarantee every party's actions, it's no longer a promise, but only an intent. So when a presidential candidate or the president says, I promise to do this in regards to war, take it with a grain of salt. Don't let that be your emotional tugging string to sway any person one way or another when it comes to presidential elections. When something sounds too good to be true, as promised by an individual that wants something from you, in this case your vote, ensure that it's something they can actually promise and deliver upon. When it's something as big as war, that's like saying, I'm going to have world peace. If it was something that could be that easily promised and delivered upon, we'd have world peace right now. Again, nothing against our president, nothing against this country. I love this country. I've served for many years now with this country and will continue to do so. But when it comes to presidential elections, keep the issues to something they can actually control, and don't allow emotions to sway your vote to do something that's going to affect my career, that's going to affect my family, and that's going to affect your families. Thank you very much.